If it isn't meat sauce, then I don't want it, okay? How's it going, you little miracles? Today's January 23rd, one day before the Doomsday Clock updates, which I'm certain I'll do another entirely separate video for, though today felt like going through some news. But to start, I want to talk a little bit about current events. As you may not have known, I was going to go to the planetarium this weekend, but it set on fire earlier this month. Yeah, like right before my birthday. Who would have thunk it? Luckily, the equipment inside is okay, though I'm sure they'll raise the tuition and keep students funneling in. In addition, I am still reading Hothouse Earth. There are a couple paragraphs which I'd like to read out loud. It was fascinating in the YouTube space to see Paul Beckwith's entire room, where he broadcasts so much information. Like, he's recorded hundreds of videos and changed, the knowledge and understanding of so many people from a little tiny room attached to his bedroom, in a 1911 built house. Just phenomenal. I mean, just goes to show you the brevity and knowledge of some people, given just a few tools to broadcast, can do so much. And it is still schizophrenic on YouTube coming into this space where the recommended feed is Russell Brand, free your mind, live free. And then you got Andrew Huberman. Look, I get his point trying to spread knowledge and information, but if it's not backed up by wisdom, it's just futile. His most recent publication, published today, he's a Stanford scientist, ophthalmologist, and neuroscientist, tips on how to increase fertility. Meanwhile, the next recommended video is from Sabine Hossenfelder about the broken jet stream. It's just like, what is a person supposed to think? And I'm watching these climate denier argument videos, which is just we're past the point of trying to convince them now. Clearly, guys, that's not the point. But they often say, well, what about scientists from the other side? There is no statistically different other side. More than 99.9% of scientists agree that man-made climate change we did it. We're causing it. Otherwise, we would be in an ice age. So when I hear things like the other side, I just think really delusional people. There are many. I feel like that just walking around the grocery store. These were the critical years. These are the pivotal years. So other than that, I'm still working. Finished watching The Walking Dead. Finally, the series is over. Not that many of you care about it, but the zombies are kind of a metaphor for climate change, all persistent, all, around us, and we can try to direct the forces, but it will still cause lots of damage and suffering. Luckily, though, getting to today's news articles, a U.S. agency to build AI-powered digital twin of Earth's atmosphere. Yeah, in collaboration with Lockheed Martin, a weapons of mass destruction company, and NVIDIA. Makes chips, your favorite games to run,
Sasha. Slaps. Yeah.
What a great combination. War never changes. They're teaming up with NOAA too, and they want to transform how the weather is reported, so they're going to build a 3D interactive version using AI and algorithms to complete kind of a dynamic view of the Earth. We already have this on several websites, record this information, but I guess they're going to do it in a much prettier looking way and time. So they're going to be able to go 2 weeks in the future and 2 weeks in the past. Pretty interesting. Okay, a lot of hand gestures today. You feel that? I needed to go through today's climate and economy for the 90% of males who are still subscribed to my channel and watching my content. I don't know. It's too scary. Most women my age have children. Today's economic roundup news. Why am I going through economics? I don't know. Just feel like it. Tomorrow, remember, Doomsday Clock release updates. Global PC shipments saw a record decline in fourth quarter of 2022. Speaking of NVIDIA, global foundry sales set to drop and a blow to Taiwan and South Korea for semiconductor chip making. Banks are preparing for the deepest cuts since the financial crisis. Firings expected to be super brutal, with Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse, and Morgan Stanley already laying off employees. A growing number of Americans face potentially crippling credit card debt. I just stopped paying on my guys. I'm in a lucky position. It's extortion, okay? I'm almost finished paying off my car, which I'll get to here in a moment. But Americans are piling on credit card debt just as interest rates reach a historic highs. They just keep going up. They're going to raise them again. Americans are struggling to pay car loans thus. I am so ready. I only have like $700 or so left on my car payment. I'm so done. So done with that. People are having problems with that. Severely delinquent. Finland's interest rate payments take a giant leap. That's for you, Jarko. Protests in Stockholm, including Quran burning. Energy costs force stark choices on disabled people. Also, I mentioned in my previous video that we're sending billions of more dollars to Ukraine and rising interest rates, as we just read. So isn't that just a wonderful stew of things, to help the working man out? French protests, man loses a testicle after clashing with police. Jeez. Thousands stage anti-government protests in Madrid, as well as Peru. Europe is bracing for a sharp and abrupt real estate reversal. Brazil and Argentina announced this week they're starting preparation work on a common currency, a move which could eventually create the world's second largest currency bloc. Peru protests, they're asking for their president to step down. Is Egypt the new Lebanon? Potentially so. Lebanon's recovering drug addicts risk relapses. Economic crisis destroys hope. Just glad you aren't in these places, guys, like Iran, Pakistan, national power outage, major breakdown of the national grid. Can we just lament on our grid on how poor it is? It hasn't been updated in decades. It won't hold by the end of this decade. Okay, you myopic little worm. Pakistan is on the brink of mass deaths. Afghanistan is disintegrating, but it can't afford to give up opium, just like we can't give up hopium. Another cold, dark winter that Central Asia will not forget. Tashkent, Central Asia's largest city with around 3 million people, have been set cooking meals on open fires in the streets, echoing scenes from early 2002. And will the world face more debt crisis in 2023? A debt crisis for developing nations predicted in 2023. High interest rates, fast inflation, weak growth, and a strong currency, dollar, I assume. This implies that even if the economic problems in borrowing nations worsen, attempts to reduce debt will have a very tough time succeeding. Yeah, I think we're caught in gridlock, and I don't anticipate us coming out of this debt ceiling debacle well, because we've never been so divided in Congress since the Civil War. Yes, welcome, immigrants, to one of the worst times to be an American. Literally the worst inequality in history. And religious people will just say, oh, it was written. Fine. You can go write down your epitaph somewhere else. But I'm not going to rely on hearsay and magical thinking to dictate real-life actual science. Okay? Tough time to be alive. Tough time to be a human. But I appreciate all of you. Thanks for liking and subscribing and keeping up with my nonsense. Not really. This is what's happening in the world. Thanks again. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good week. See ya.